100 Civics Questions 2025, 2008 Test. Easy Practice with Animation. Part 1. 1 to 10. The office is bright and comfortable. Andrea sits across from David, a hopeful applicant for U.S. citizenship. A notepad and a small American flag rest on the table.
Good morning, David. How are you feeling today?
Hi, Andrea. I'm a little nervous, but I'm excited to practice. I know this is important.
That's the spirit. Remember, we're just practicing. I'll read you each question with 3 answer choices. Listen carefully and then choose your answer. After each one, I'll explain why the answer is correct so you can really understand, not just memorize. Ready to start?
I'm ready.
Question 1. What does the judicial branch do? A. Makes laws. B. Enforces laws. C. Reviews laws.
I'll go with C. Reviews laws.
Correct. The judicial branch is made up of courts, including the Supreme Court. Their main job is to interpret and review laws to make sure they follow the Constitution. This means judges can decide if a law is fair or if it breaks the highest law of the country, which is the Constitution. They do not make or enforce laws. That's for Congress and the President. Question 2. What is one power of the states? A. To declare war. B. To give a driver's license. C. To print money.
I'll go with B. To give a driver's license.
Exactly. Only state governments can issue driver's licenses. This is one example of a power reserved for the states, not the federal government. States are also in charge of things like education and local elections. On the other hand, declaring war or printing money are powers of the federal government only. Question 3. When must all men register for the Selective Service? A. At age 16. B. At age 21. C. At age 18.
I'll go with C. At age 18.
Correct. All men living in the U.S., citizens or immigrants, must register for selective service within 30 days of turning 18. This is not a draft, but a list in case the country ever needs more soldiers. Registering is a legal requirement and also a responsibility for young men. Question 4. In what month do we vote for president? A. January. B. March. C. November.
I'll go with C. November.
That's right. Presidential elections are always held in November on the first Tuesday after the first Monday. This tradition was set long ago, partly so farmers could travel after the harvest, but before winter. Now it's law. Every 4 years, the presidential election is in November. Question 5. Who vetoes bills? A. The President. B. The Vice President. C. The Speaker of the House.
I'll go with A. The President.
Correct. After Congress passes a bill, it goes to the President. If the President disagrees with the bill, they can veto it, which means to officially reject it. Congress can override a veto, but it's difficult. It takes a 2/3 vote in both the House and the Senate. This system is part of checks and balances. Question 6. Name one state that borders Canada. A. Texas. B. Florida. C. New York.
I'll go with C. New York.
Exactly. New York shares a border with Canada. There are other border states too, like Washington, Maine, and Michigan, but Texas and Florida do not border Canada. Texas borders Mexico, and Florida is far south. Question 7. What is one responsibility that is only for U.S. citizens? A. To pay taxes. B. To vote in a federal election. C. To serve in the military.
I'll go with B. To vote in a federal election.
Correct. Only U.S. citizens can vote in federal elections, like for president or Congress. Non-citizens may pay taxes or even serve in the military, but the right and responsibility to vote at the federal level belongs only to citizens. Question 8. What is the political party of the president now? A. Democratic. B. Republican. C. Libertarian.
I'll go with B. Republican.
That's correct for this example. The answer to this question can change depending on who is president at the time of your test. For example, when Donald Trump was president, the answer was Republican. Always check who the president is and their party before your interview. Question 9. What ocean is on the east coast of the United States? A. The Pacific Ocean. B. The Indian Ocean. C. The Atlantic Ocean.
I'll go with C. The Atlantic Ocean.
Exactly. The Atlantic Ocean runs along the entire East Coast, from Florida to Maine. It's the ocean early explorers crossed to reach America from Europe. The Pacific Ocean is on the West Coast. Question 10. When do we celebrate Independence Day? A. December 25th. B. June 14th. C. July 4th.
I'll go with C. July 4th.
Correct. Independence Day is always celebrated on July 4th. This date marks the signing of the Declaration of Independence in 1776, when America declared independence from Great Britain. It's a major national holiday with fireworks, parades, and celebrations everywhere in the U.S. Great job, David. You answered all 10 questions with confidence. Were there any that felt especially difficult or easy for you?
The one about when to register for selective service was a little tricky. I always forget if it's 18 or 21, but questions about voting and holidays felt easier because I see those dates everywhere.
That's very common. Questions with numbers, like ages or dates, can be hard to remember at first. Try connecting them to something personal. For example, 18 is the age when many young people finish high school, so it's easy to link that age with adult responsibilities like selective service.
That helps. And for holidays, I always remember fireworks for July 4th.
Exactly. And for the government questions, try thinking about the 3 branches. Legislative makes laws, executive enforces laws, and judicial reviews laws. Saying it out loud can make it stick. You're doing really well.
Thank you, Andrea. I feel more confident when I understand why the answers are correct, not just what they are.
That's the key. The more you understand, the less nervous you'll be. You're making excellent progress. Are you ready to keep going with more questions next time?
I am. Thank you for all your help and explanations.
100 Civics Questions 2025, 2008 Test. Practice by Groups with Animation. Part 2. 11 to 20. The office is quiet and welcoming. Morning light shines through the window as Andrea and David prepare for their next practice session. The American flag and Civics notepad are still on the desk, reminders of their ongoing journey.
Welcome back, David. You did an excellent job last time. How did you feel after our last practice?
Thanks, Andrea. I actually felt more relaxed after our session. Reviewing the explanations helped a lot. I even tried saying a few answers out loud to myself at home.
That's a great strategy. Speaking aloud helps your memory and confidence for the real interview. Ready for the next set of 10 questions?
Absolutely. Let's keep going.
Question 11. Who is one of your state's U.S. senators? A. Answers will vary. B. George Washington. C. Kamala Harris.
I'll go with A. Answers will vary.
That's correct. Every state has 2 U.S. senators who represent all people in the state. The actual names depend on your state and can change with elections. It's important to look up your current senators before your interview. This shows you know about your local government and can give accurate information. Question 12. What is one thing Benjamin Franklin is famous for? A. He was the first president. B. He was a U.S. diplomat. C. He invented the airplane.
I'll go with B. He was a U.S. diplomat.
Exactly. Benjamin Franklin was never president, but he played a crucial role as a diplomat during the American Revolution. He helped persuade France to support the colonies in their fight for independence, which was essential for America's victory. He was also an inventor, writer, and one of the founding fathers. But for this question, his work as a diplomat is key. Question 13. Name one right only for United States citizens. A. To run for local office. B. To attend public school. C. To vote in a federal election.
I'll go with C. To vote in a federal election.
Correct. Only U.S. citizens can vote in federal elections for president or members of Congress. Other rights, like attending public schools or running for some local offices, are not limited to citizens. But voting at the federal level is a special privilege and responsibility of citizenship. Question 14. Name one problem that led to the Civil War. A. Slavery. B. Taxes on tea. C. The Great Depression.
I'll go with A. Slavery.
That's right. Slavery was the central issue that divided the North and South before the Civil War. Disagreements over whether slavery should expand into new states and whether it should continue at all led to conflict and eventually to the Civil War in 1861. Other problems existed, but slavery was the most important cause. Question 15. What did Susan B. Anthony do? A. She became the first female senator. B. She fought for women's rights. C. She signed the Declaration of Independence.
I'll go with B. She fought for women's rights.
Correct. Susan B. Anthony was a leader in the women's suffrage movement. She dedicated her life to gaining equal rights for women, especially the right to vote. Her work helped lead to the 19th Amendment, which finally gave women the right to vote in 1920. Question 16. When was the Declaration of Independence adopted? A. September 17, 1787. B. November 11, 1918. C. July 4, 1776.
I'll go with C. July 4th, 1776.
That's right. The Declaration of Independence was adopted by the Second Continental Congress on July 4, 1776, marking the official separation of the American colonies from Britain. This date is now celebrated as Independence Day all over the country. Question 17. Who is the father of our country? A. George Washington. B. Thomas Jefferson. C. Abraham Lincoln.
I'll go with A. George Washington.
Correct. George Washington is called the father of our country because he led the Continental Army to victory in the Revolutionary War and became the first president of the United States. His leadership helped shape the new nation. Question 18. If the president can no longer serve, who becomes president? A. The Speaker of the House. B. The Vice President. C. The Chief Justice.
I'll go with B. The Vice President.
Exactly. If the president dies, resigns, or cannot serve, the vice president immediately becomes president. This is part of the presidential line of succession, making sure there is always someone ready to lead the country. Question 19. What does the Constitution do? A. It sets up the government. B. It names the first president. C. It ends the Civil War.
I'll go with A. It sets up the government.
Correct. The Constitution is the foundation of American government. It explains how the government is structured, divides powers among branches, and protects basic rights. Every law and action by government must follow the Constitution. Question 20. How many amendments does the Constitution have? A. 10. B. 27. C. 50.
I'll go with B. 27.
That's right. The Constitution currently has 27 amendments. The first 10 are called the Bill of Rights, and the others have been added over time to expand rights, fix problems, or make changes as the country has grown. Fantastic job, David. You're really understanding these topics. Which question did you find the hardest this time?
Honestly, the one about my state's senators. I know I have to look them up, but I always forget the names. The questions about history, like the Declaration of Independence or Susan B. Anthony, felt a little easier since I remember the stories.
That's very common. Questions about current officials require you to check and memorize because they change with elections. For questions about history or rights, connecting them to stories or events makes them easier to remember. Have you tried saying the answers out loud, especially for the trickier ones?
Yes, it helps. Sometimes I use my phone to record myself. I notice my confidence grows when I practice speaking, not just thinking.
That's an excellent technique. The more you practice saying answers aloud, the more natural you'll sound in the real interview. And if you're ever unsure, it's okay to pause and ask the officer to repeat the question. They're there to help you succeed, not to trick you.
That's encouraging. I'll keep practicing. I'm starting to believe I can really do this.
You absolutely can. Remember, every time you practice, you build your confidence and knowledge. You're not just preparing for a test. You're preparing to be a full part of this country. I'm proud of your progress, David. Ready for the next round when you are.
Thank you, Andrea. I'm feeling stronger every session.
100 Civics Questions 2025, 2008 Test, Animated Q&A for Memory Boost. Part 3, 21 to 30. The office feels comfortable and familiar now. Andrea pours a glass of water for David, who smiles as he settles into his seat, ready for another round of questions.
Welcome back, David. You're making steady progress. How did your practice go since our last session?
Thanks, Andrea. I tried practicing with my family, and my daughter even quizzed me on some of the questions. I feel a little more confident, especially when I say the answers out loud.
That's fantastic. Teaching or explaining to someone else is a great way to remember. Let's keep up the momentum today. I'll read each question and answer choices just like before. Remember, answer in full sentences to help your speaking skills. Ready?
Ready.
Question 21. Name 3 of the 13 original states. A. New York, New Jersey, and New Hampshire. B. California, Texas, and Florida. C. Ohio, Michigan, and Illinois.
I'll go with A. New York, New Jersey, and New Hampshire.
Correct. These 3 were part of the original 13 colonies that declared independence from Britain in 1776. The original states are mostly along the East Coast, and many of them begin with new. Remembering these helps connect U.S. history to its beginnings. Question 22. What group of people was taken to America and sold as slaves? A. Europeans. B. Asians. C. Africans.
I'll go with C. Africans.
Exactly. Africans were forcibly brought to America and sold as slaves, especially in the southern colonies, starting in the 1600s. This is a tragic and important part of U.S. history, with lasting impacts still discussed today. Question 23. What is the branch or part of the government? A. Congress. B. The President. C. The Supreme Court.
I'll go with B. The President.
That's right. The government is divided into three branches: the legislative, Congress; the executive, the President; and the judicial, the Supreme Court and other courts. The President leads the executive branch, responsible for enforcing the nation's laws. Question 24. Name the U.S. war between the North and the South. A. The Mexican-American War. B. The Revolutionary War. C. The Civil War.
I'll go with C. The Civil War.
Correct. The Civil War was fought from 1861 to 1865 between the Northern states, the Union, and the Southern states, the Confederacy. The main issue was slavery, and the war resulted in the end of slavery in the U.S. Question 25. Who was president during the Great Depression and World War II? A. Herbert Hoover. B. Franklin D. Roosevelt. C. Harry Truman's.
I'll go with B. Franklin D. Roosevelt.
Exactly. Franklin D. Roosevelt, often called FDR, led the country through the economic crisis of the Great Depression and almost all of World War II. He is the only U.S. president elected to 4 terms and is remembered for his leadership in difficult times. Question 26. What is the highest court in the United States? A. The Supreme Court. B. The Court of Appeals. C. The District Court.
I'll go with A. The Supreme Court.
That's correct. The Supreme Court is the highest and most powerful court in the country. It has the final say on cases about the Constitution and laws, and its decisions are binding on all other courts. Question 27. When was the Constitution written? A. 1865. B. 1492. C. 1787.
I'll go with C. 1787.
Right. The Constitution was written in 1787 in Philadelphia. It created the framework for the U.S. government and is still the nation's highest law. The year 1787 is a key date to remember for citizenship. Question 28. What movement tried to end racial discrimination? A. The Temperance Movement. B. The Civil Rights Movement. C. The Women's Suffrage Movement.
I'll go with B. The Civil Rights Movement.
Exactly. The Civil Rights Movement in the 1950s and 1960s worked to end racial segregation and discrimination, especially against African Americans. Leaders like Martin Luther King Jr. played key roles in fighting for equality. Question 29. Where is the Statue of Liberty? A. Boston. B. Philadelphia. C. In the New York Harbor.
I'll go with C. In the New York Harbor.
Correct. The Statue of Liberty stands on Liberty Island in the New York Harbor. It was a gift from France and is a symbol of freedom and hope for immigrants arriving in America. Question 30. How long do we elect a president for? A. 6 years. B. 2 years. C. 4 years.
I'll go with C. 4 years.
That's right. The president is elected for a 4-year term and can serve a maximum of 2 terms, 8 years total. This 4-year cycle is a core part of the American political system. You did fantastic, David. You're really starting to sound confident with your answers. Were there any questions this time that felt easier or more difficult for you?
Thanks. I think I find the history questions about dates or wars easier, especially when I connect them to things I've seen in movies or books. Sometimes I get a little nervous with questions about government branches or remembering the exact year.
That's very normal. For facts like years or government structure, it helps to use simple memory tricks, like remembering 1787 as the year the Constitution was written, or picturing 3 branches of a tree to remember the 3 branches of government. And you did a great job answering in full sentences. That's excellent for your interview.
Practicing out loud is definitely helping. I'm still worried about making mistakes, though.
Mistakes are part of learning. If you're unsure during your interview, you can always pause and take a breath. Officers appreciate it when you speak clearly and try your best. You can even ask for the question to be repeated if you need it. The important thing is to show you understand, not to be perfect every time.
That's good to hear. I think I'm starting to enjoy learning this history.
That's wonderful, David. You're not just preparing for a test, you're building your future as a citizen. Each session, you're getting stronger. Keep practicing out loud, and soon, this will all feel natural. I'm very proud of your progress. Ready for the next round when you are.
Thank you, Andrea. I feel more confident every time we meet.
100 Civics Questions 2025, 2008 Test. Smart Review with Repeated Answers, Part 4, 31 to 40. The office is filled with a sense of routine and progress. Andrea smiles as David arrives, looking more at ease with each session.
Good to see you again, David. You've been making great progress. Your answers are getting quicker and more confident.
Thank you, Andrea. I've noticed that, too. Practicing with you and reviewing at home is making a big difference. My family even quizzes me now and then.
That's fantastic. It's so helpful to get everyone involved. Today, let's keep that momentum going with our next 10 questions. As always, I'll read each question and all 3 choices. Ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Question 31. How old must citizens be to vote for president? A. 18 and older. B. 16 and older. C. 21 and older.
I'll go with A. 18 and older.
Correct. You must be at least 18 years old to vote for president in the United States. This was established by the 26th Amendment to the Constitution in 1971, lowering the voting age from 21 to 18. The change reflected the idea that if you are old enough to be drafted into the military, you should be able to vote. Question 32. What did the Declaration of Independence do? A. It created the first U.S. bank. B. It announced our independence from Great Britain. C. It started the Civil War.
I'll go with B. It announced our independence from Great Britain.
That's right. The Declaration of Independence, adopted on July 4, 1776, formally told the world that the American colonies were no longer under British rule. It also explained the reasons for wanting independence, making it a key document in U.S. history. Question 33. What territory did the United States buy from France in 1803? A. Alaska. B. Florida. C. Louisiana.
I'll go with C. Louisiana.
Exactly. The Louisiana Purchase in 1803 nearly doubled the size of the United States. The U.S. bought this vast area from France, and it now includes parts of 15 different states. It was a major event in the country's expansion. Question 34. Before he was president, Eisenhower was a general. What war was he in? A. World War I. B. World War II. C. The Korean War.
I'll go with B. World War II.
Correct. Dwight D. Eisenhower was the supreme commander of Allied forces in Europe during World War II. He led the D-Day invasion and later became the 34th President of the United States. Question 35. Who was the first president? A. George Washington. B. Thomas Jefferson. C. Abraham Lincoln.
I'll go with A. George Washington.
That's right. George Washington is called the father of our country because he was the first president of the United States, serving from 1789 to 1797. He led the nation through its founding years and set many important precedents. Question 36. What are two rights of everyone living in the United States? A. Freedom of speech and freedom of religion. B. The right to vote and the right to bear arms. C. Freedom of the press and the right to drive.
I'll go with A. Freedom of speech and freedom of religion.
Exactly. Freedom of speech and freedom of religion are two fundamental rights for everyone living in the U.S., not just citizens. They're guaranteed by the First Amendment and are part of what makes America unique. These freedoms allow people to express themselves and practice any religion or none at all. Question 37. What is one right only for U.S. citizens? A. To serve in the military. B. To vote in a federal election. C. To have a job.
I'll go with B. To vote in a federal election.
Correct. Only. U.S. citizens can vote in federal elections, like those for president, senators, and representatives. This right is an important responsibility of citizenship and helps ensure that government reflects the will of the people. Question 38. What is the capital of the United States? A. Philadelphia. B. New York City. C. Washington, D.C.
I'll go with C. Washington, D.C.
Exactly. Washington, D.C. is the capital city of the United States. It's where the president lives and where Congress and the Supreme Court are located. D.C. stands for District of Columbia. Question 39. What is the capital of your state? A. Answers will vary. B. The largest city. C. The state's oldest city.
I'll go with A. Answers will vary.
That's correct. Each state has its own capital where the state government is located. For example, the capital of California is Sacramento, while the capital of Texas is Austin. It's important to know your state's capital for the interview. Question 40. What ocean is on the west coast of the United States? A. The Atlantic Ocean. B. The Indian Ocean. C. The Pacific Ocean.
I'll go with C. The Pacific Ocean.
Correct. The Pacific Ocean borders the entire west coast of the United States, from California up to Washington and Alaska. It's the largest ocean on Earth and played a big role in U.S. exploration and trade. Excellent work, David. You answered these questions quickly and clearly. Did you find any of these questions challenging, or did any stand out as easier?
The questions about the capital and the rights were easier, maybe because I've heard them so many times. The history ones, like the Louisiana Purchase or Eisenhower's War, were a little harder, but your explanations really helped me remember the details.
That's wonderful to hear. For the historical questions, try connecting the facts to stories or images in your mind, like picturing a giant map for the Louisiana Purchase or seeing Eisenhower leading troops on D-Day. The more you connect the answers to something memorable, the easier they'll stick.
I'll try that, and practicing out loud is definitely making me more comfortable.
I can tell your answers are clear and confident. Remember, if you ever need to pause during your real interview, that's perfectly okay. You can ask for a question to be repeated or take a moment to think. The most important thing is to stay calm and speak up.
That's really encouraging. I feel much less nervous than when we first started.
You should be proud of how far you've come, David. Every session, you're building skills that will help you not only on the test, but as a citizen. Keep practicing out loud and don't forget to enjoy the journey. You're learning the story of your new country. Ready to keep going with more questions next time?
Absolutely. Thank you for your patience and support, Andrea. I really feel like I can do this now. 100 Civics Questions 2025, 2008 Test, Grouped Practice plus Clear Answers, Part 5, 41 to 50.
The office is bright with afternoon sun as Andrea greets David for their next session. There's a sense of teamwork as they settle in, both smiling at the steady progress being made.
Welcome back, David. Every time you come in, I see you getting more confident. How's your studying been this week?
Thanks, Andrea. I'm definitely feeling better about answering out loud. My family even makes a little game out of quizzing me after dinner. It's really helping me remember and making me less nervous.
That's the best way to practice. Learning together and having some fun with it takes a lot of the pressure off. Ready to dive into the next 10 questions?
Absolutely. Let's go.
Question 41. Name 2 national U.S. holidays. A. New Year's Day and Christmas. B. Valentine's Day and Halloween. C. St. Patrick's Day and Labor Day.
I'll go with A. New Year's Day and Christmas.
Correct. New Year's Day, January 1st, and Christmas, December 25th, are both national holidays in the United States. On these days, most people get time off work or school, and businesses often close. While there are many other holidays, these two are recognized nationwide and celebrated by millions of Americans. Question 42. Why do some states have more representatives than other states? A. Because they have more people. B. Because they have more land. C. Because they are older states.
I'll go with A. Because they have more people.
Exactly. The number of representatives a state has in the House of Representatives depends on the state's population. States with more people get more representatives so that everyone's voice is heard fairly in Congress. This is why California, the most populous state, has many representatives, while less populated states like Wyoming have only one. Question 43. What is one promise you make when you become a United States citizen? A. To be loyal to the United States. B. To buy a home in the U.S. C. To learn a new language.
I'll go with A. To be loyal to the United States.
Correct. During the Oath of Allegiance, new citizens promise to be loyal to the United States. This means putting the country's interests first, obeying its laws, and supporting and defending the Constitution. It's an important part of becoming a citizen and joining the American community. Question 44. How old must citizens be to vote for president? A. 16 and older. B. 18 and older. C. 21 and older.
I'll go with B. 18 and older.
That's right. Citizens must be at least 18 years old to vote for president, thanks to the 26th Amendment. This change was made in 1971 to reflect the belief that if young people could be drafted for military service at 18, they should also have the right to vote. Question 45. Name your U.S. representative. A. Answers will vary. B. The governor of your state. C. The mayor of your city.
I'll go with A. Answers will vary.
Correct. The name of your U.S. representative depends on your home address and congressional district. It's important to look this up before your citizenship interview, as the answer is different for everyone and changes with elections. Question 46. What is the supreme law of the land? A. The Declaration of Independence. B. The Constitution. C. The Emancipation Proclamation.
I'll go with B. The Constitution.
Exactly. The U.S. Constitution is the highest law in the country. All other laws must follow the Constitution, and if there is ever a conflict, the Constitution wins. This document sets up the government and protects basic rights. Question 47. What was the main concern of the United States during the Cold War? A. Communism. B. Climate change. C. Space exploration.
I'll go with A. Communism.
Correct. The main concern of the United States during the Cold War was the spread of communism, especially from the Soviet Union. This period, roughly 1947 to 1991, led to many events like the Korean War, the Vietnam War, and the arms race. Question 48. What is the name of the Vice President of the United States now? A. Mike Pence. B. J.D. Vance. C. Kamala Harris.
I'll go with B. J.D. Vance.
That's right for now. The name of the vice president can change after elections, so it's important to check the current answer before your interview. For now, J.D. Vance is the correct answer. Question 49. What is one power of the federal government? A. To print money. B. To run local schools. C. To issue driver's licenses.
I'll go with A. To print money.
Correct. Only. The federal government can print or coin U.S. money. States do not have this power. This is one of several important responsibilities kept at the national level, like declaring war or making treaties. Question 50. What are two ways that Americans can participate in their democracy? A. They can write letters to Congress. B. They can start a business. C. They can vote or they can run for office.
I'll go with C. They can vote or they can run for office.
Exactly. Voting in elections and running for office are two important ways Americans can participate and have their voices heard. Other ways include joining a political party, volunteering, or attending community meetings. But voting and running for office are among the most direct and powerful. Excellent job, David. These questions covered everything from holidays to how government works, which ones felt easier, and which needed more thought.
I think the questions about holidays and the age to vote felt the easiest. I see those all the time. The ones about my representative or the Cold War took more thinking. I realize I need to look up my district's representative again before the real test.
That's a great idea. For questions about officials, it's always smart to double-check right before your interview, since names can change after elections. And for bigger topics like the Cold War, just remember the main idea, what worried the country most at the time.
That helps, and practicing saying the answers out loud really makes me feel more ready. Even if I'm nervous, I know what to expect now.
You're absolutely right. The more you practice out loud, the more natural it feels. And don't forget, in your real interview, you can always take a moment to think or ask the officer to repeat a question. You don't have to rush, just focus on clear, confident answers like you're doing now.
Thanks, Andrea, I'm starting to believe I really can pass this test.
You're proving it every session. You're not just learning the answers, you're understanding what they mean. That's the best way to become a confident, active citizen. Keep up the great work, David. Ready to keep going next time?
I am. Thank you so much for your support and all these helpful tips.
100 Civics Questions 2025. 2008 Test. Animated Answers You'll Remember. Part 6. 51 to 60. Late afternoon sunlight streams through the office window. Andrea greets David with a warm smile, sensing his growing confidence as he takes his seat for another session.
Welcome back, David. We're past the halfway mark now. Every time you come in, you sound more and more like a future citizen.
Thanks, Andrea. I actually feel it, too. My answers are coming more naturally, and I even catch myself explaining these facts to my friends.
That's amazing. Teaching others is one of the best ways to remember. Let's keep it going with the next set of 10 questions. I'll read each one with the choices. Ready?
Ready as ever.
Question 51. Name one of the two longest rivers in the United States. A. The Mississippi River. B. The Hudson River. C. The Colorado River.
I'll go with A. The Mississippi River.
Correct. The Mississippi River is one of the two longest rivers in the U.S., along with the Missouri River. The Mississippi runs from Minnesota all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico, playing a huge role in the country's history, economy, and transportation. Question 52. How many voting members are in the House of Representatives? A. 100. B. 435. C. 50.
I'll go with B. 435.
Exactly. There are 435 voting members in the House of Representatives. The number for each state is based on population, with more populous states having more representatives. This helps ensure fair representation for all Americans in Congress. Question 53. How many justices are on the Supreme Court? A. 7. B. 9. C. 11.
I'll go with B. 9.
That's right. The Supreme Court has 9 justices, 1 Chief Justice, and 8 Associate Justices. This number has stayed the same since 1869. The Supreme Court's job is to interpret the Constitution and decide the most important legal questions. Question 54. What is one right or freedom from the First Amendment? A. Speech. B. The right to bear arms. C. The right to a fair trial.
I'll go with A. Speech.
Correct. Freedom of speech is protected by the First Amendment and allows people to express their opinions without government interference. The First Amendment also protects freedoms of religion, press, assembly, and petition. Question 55. What is one responsibility that is only for United States citizens? A. To pay taxes. B. To vote in a federal election. C. To serve in the military.
I'll go with B. to vote in a federal election.
Exactly. Only U.S. citizens can vote in federal elections. Other responsibilities, like paying taxes or serving in the military, may apply to non-citizens as well, but voting for president, senators, and representatives is reserved for citizens. Question 56. Who is the Chief Justice of the United States now? A. Clarence Thomas. B. John Roberts. C. Sonia Sotomayor.
I'll go with B. John Roberts.
Correct. John Roberts has been the Chief Justice since 2005. The Chief Justice leads the Supreme Court and often represents the judiciary at official functions. It's important to know the current Chief Justice, as this can change. Question 57. Name one state that borders Mexico. A. Georgia. B. California. C. Nevada.
I'll go with B. California.
That's right. California is one of 4 states that border Mexico. The others are Texas, Arizona, and New Mexico. Remembering this geography can be useful for several citizenship test questions. Question 58. Who does a U.S. Senator represent? A. Only people who voted for them. B. All people of the state. C. The governor.
I'll go with B. All people of the state.
Exactly. U.S. senators represent everyone in their state, not just those who voted for them. This ensures that all residents have equal representation in the Senate, no matter their background or opinions. Question 59. What are 2 cabinet-level positions? A. The Vice President and the Attorney General. B. The Speaker of the House and the Secretary of State. C. The Governor and the Chief Justice.
I'll go with A. The Vice President and the Attorney General.
Correct. Both the Vice President and the Attorney General are members of the President's Cabinet. The Cabinet is a group of top advisors who lead major government departments and help the President make important decisions. Question 60. What are the first 3 words of the Constitution? A. In the beginning. B. United States Constitution. C. We the people.
I'll go with C. We the people.
Exactly. We the people are the famous opening words of the Constitution. They show that the government's power comes from the people, not from a king or ruler. It's a powerful idea that shapes all of American democracy. Fantastic job, David. You handled those questions really well. Were there any today that caught you off guard?
I was a little unsure about the number of justices on the Supreme Court, but I remembered your tip about 9 players on a baseball team. The cabinet positions and borders with Mexico were also tricky at first, but your explanations help.
I love hearing you use those memory tricks, connecting facts to things you already know, like baseball or maps, makes remembering so much easier. You're also speaking more clearly and confidently with every answer.
Thanks, Andrea. I still get a little nervous about giving the wrong answer, but practicing out loud is helping a lot.
That's perfectly normal. Everyone feels nervous sometimes. Remember, if you make a mistake in the real interview, it's okay. You can correct yourself. The officers want to see that you understand, not that you're perfect. And if you ever need a moment, just pause and take a breath.
That's good advice. I feel much more prepared than when I started, and it's even starting to feel fun.
That's the spirit. You're doing the hard work now, and it's paying off. The knowledge and skills you're building aren't just for a test. They'll help you be an informed, active citizen. I'm proud of you, David. Let's keep up the great momentum in our next session.
Thank you so much, Andrea. I really appreciate your encouragement.
100 Civics Questions 2025, 2008 Test. Learn fast with animated practice. Part 7, 61 to 70. The office is calm, filled with quiet focus and a sense of accomplishment as Andrea greets David for another session. There's a sense of partnership. They're nearing the final stretch together.
Welcome back, David. You're really on a roll. How do you feel about getting close to question 70?
Honestly, I'm proud of how far I've come. The questions feel more like stories and facts I know, not just things to memorize.
That's the goal. Let's keep that feeling going. Here come the next 10 questions. Remember to answer in full sentences and speak up. Ready?
I'm ready.
Question 61. What happened at the Constitutional Convention? A. The Constitution was written. B. The Bill of Rights was added. C. George Washington was elected president.
I'll go with A. The Constitution was written.
Correct. The Constitutional Convention took place in Philadelphia in 1787. It's where delegates from the states met to create a new plan for government, the U.S. Constitution. This document became the foundation for American law and government. Question 62. What is an amendment? A. A change to the Constitution. B. A court decision. C. A new law passed by Congress.
I'll go with A. A change to the Constitution.
Exactly. An amendment is an official change or addition to the Constitution. There are currently 27 amendments, which include important rights and changes, like the right to vote and ending slavery. Question 63. How many U.S. senators are there? A. 50. B. 100. C. 435.
I'll go with B. 100.
Correct. Each state has 2 senators, so there are a total of 100 U.S. senators in Congress. This gives every state equal representation in the Senate, no matter the population. Question 64. What are the 2 major political parties in the United States? A. Green and Libertarian. B. Democratic and Republican. C. Labor and Conservative.
I'll go with B. Democratic and Republican.
That's right. The Democratic and Republican parties are the 2 main political parties in the U.S. Most elected officials belong to one of these parties, and nearly every presidential election is a contest between them. Question 65. Why does the flag have 50 stars? A. Because there are 50 states. B. Because there are 50 presidents. C. Because there are 50 amendments.
I'll go with A, because there are 50 states.
Correct. Each star on the U.S. flag represents one of the 50 states. As new states joined the Union, stars were added to the flag. Today, all 50 states are represented. Question 66. Why does the flag have 13 stripes? A. Because there are 13 justices. B. Because there are 13 amendments. C. Because there were 13 original colonies.
I'll go with C, because there were 13 original colonies.
Exactly. The 13 stripes, 7 red and 6 white, stand for the 13 original colonies that declared independence from Great Britain in 1776. It's a symbol of America's beginnings. Question 67. How long do we elect a U.S. representative for? A. 4 years. B. 6 years. C. 2 years.
I'll go with C, 2 years.
That's right. Members of the House of Representatives are elected for 2-year terms. This means the entire House can change every 2 years, allowing voters to have a regular say in who represents them. Question 68. Who wrote the Declaration of Independence? A. Benjamin Franklin. B. Thomas Jefferson. C. George Washington.
I'll go with B, Thomas Jefferson.
Correct. Thomas Jefferson was the main author of the Declaration of Independence. He was helped by other founding fathers, but he wrote most of the document. It announced the colony's independence from Great Britain. Question 69. What is the supreme law of the land? A. The Declaration of Independence. B. The Bill of Rights. C. The Constitution.
I'll go with C, the Constitution.
Exactly. The U.S. Constitution is the highest law in the land. All other laws, federal, state, and local, must follow the Constitution. It's the foundation of American government. Question 70. Name one U.S. territory. A. Hawaii. B. Alaska. C. Puerto Rico.
I'll go with C, Puerto Rico.
Correct. Puerto Rico is an unincorporated territory of the United States. People born there are U.S. citizens, even though Puerto Rico isn't a state. Other territories include Guam, the U.S. Virgin Islands, American Samoa, and the Northern Mariana Islands. Great job, David. You moved through these questions smoothly. Which ones were easiest for you, and did any require more thought?
The flag questions felt the easiest, because I see the flag everywhere and remember learning about the stripes and stars. Remembering how long representatives serve was harder, but your explanations help keep it clear.
That's a great observation. Visual symbols, like the flag, stick with us. And connecting numbers, like 2 years for the House and 6 for the Senate, to stories or memory tricks helps. You're also answering with more confidence every time.
Practicing aloud really helps. I used to feel shy about speaking up, but now I'm more comfortable explaining the answers, even to my kids.
That's fantastic, David. The more you teach and share, the more it sticks. And remember, the interview is about showing you understand, not being perfect. It's okay to take your time and speak clearly. You've come so far.
Thank you, Andrea. I appreciate your patience and support. I'm really starting to believe I can succeed.
You absolutely can. You're not just learning for a test, you're preparing to be an active citizen. I'm proud of you. Ready to keep going next time?
Yes, let's keep going.
100 Civics Questions 2025, 2008 Test. Practice by Theme with Visuals, Part 8, 71 to 80. The office is filled with a feeling of accomplishment. Andrea greets David warmly as they settle in, ready to tackle the next set of questions together.
Welcome back, David. You've already answered 70 questions. Can you believe how far you've come?
I know. When we started, it seemed impossible, but now I'm actually enjoying it. I feel so much more prepared and confident.
That's wonderful to hear. Let's keep building on that confidence. Here are your next 10 questions. Listen carefully, answer in full sentences, and I'll explain each one as we go. Ready?
Ready.
Question 71. What is the name of the Speaker of the House of Representatives now? A. Mike Johnson. B. Nancy Pelosi. C. Kevin McCarthy.
I'll go with A. Mike Johnson.
Correct. Mike Johnson is currently the Speaker of the House of Representatives. This position leads the House and is third in line for the presidency. The Speaker's name can change, so always check the most recent information before your interview. Question 72. Who did the United States fight in World War II? A. Russia, China, and Japan. B. France, Germany, and Spain. C. Japan, Italy, and Germany.
I'll go with C. Japan, Italy, and Germany.
That's right. During World War II, the United States fought against the Axis powers, Japan, Italy, and Germany. These countries were allies and fought against the U.S. and other allied powers from 1941 to 1945. Question 73. What major event happened on September 11, 2001 in the United States? A. The stock market crashed. B. Terrorists attacked the United States. C. A president was elected.
I'll go with B. Terrorists attacked the United States.
Exactly. On September 11, 2001, terrorists hijacked airplanes and attacked the World Trade Center in New York City and the Pentagon near Washington, D.C. This tragic day changed the country and led to many changes in U.S. security and policy. Question 74. What is freedom of religion? A. You can practice any religion or not practice a religion. B. You must practice Christianity. C. You cannot talk about religion.
I'll go with A. You can practice any religion or not practice a religion.
Correct. Freedom of religion means you are free to follow any religion you choose, or none at all. The government cannot require or ban any religion. This right is protected by the First Amendment to the Constitution. Question 75. What are the two parts of the U.S. Congress? A. The Senate and the House of Representatives. B. The Supreme Court and the President. C. The Cabinet and the military.
I'll go with A. The Senate and the House of Representatives.
Exactly. The U.S. Congress is divided into two parts, or houses, the Senate and the House of Representatives. Together, they make federal laws and represent the people at the national level. Question 76. What is the name of the President of the United States now? A. Joe Biden. B. Donald Trump. C. Barack Obama.
I'll go with B. Donald Trump.
That's right for now. The name of the president can change after an election, so always check the most current information before your interview. Right now, Donald Trump is the president. Question 77. What is the economic system in the United States? A. Socialist economy. B. Command economy. C. Market economy.
I'll go with C. Market economy.
Correct. The United States has a market economy. This means that supply and demand, as well as individual decisions, mostly determine what is produced and sold with limited government interference. Question 78. What do we show loyalty to when we say the Pledge of Allegiance? A. The military. B. The United States. C. The President.
I'll go with B. The United States.
Exactly. When you say the Pledge of Allegiance, you are expressing loyalty to the United States and its flag. It's a way to show respect and unity as a country. Question 79. Who is the governor of your state? A. Answers will vary. B. The mayor of your city. C. The Speaker of the House.
I'll go with A. Answers will vary.
Correct. The name of your state's governor depends on where you live and can change after elections. Always look up the current governor's name before your citizenship interview. Question 80. Name one war fought by the United States in the 1800s. A. The Civil War. B. World War I. C. The Korean War.
I'll go with A. The Civil War.
Correct. The Civil War, fought from 1861 to 1865, was a major conflict between the northern and southern states. It was fought over issues including slavery and states' rights and resulted in the preservation of the Union and the end of slavery. Great work, David. You answered quickly and clearly. Were there any that surprised you or felt especially easy?
I think the questions about the president and the governor are easy to remember, as long as I keep up with the news. The history ones, like World War II and the Civil War, are easier now that I've learned the stories behind them.
That's wonderful. Staying up to date on current leaders is always smart before your interview. And connecting historical facts to stories, as you're doing, is one of the best ways to really remember them. You're also speaking with more confidence every time.
Thanks, Andrea. Explaining the answers out loud is making everything stick. I'm much less nervous about the speaking part now.
That's fantastic. Practicing aloud, especially with real questions, makes the actual interview much less intimidating. If you keep practicing like this, you'll be more than ready.
I appreciate all your help. Every session gives me a little more confidence.
You're doing all the right things, David. You're learning, practicing, and growing more confident. I'm so proud of your hard work. Let's keep this up for the next set.
Definitely. Thank you, Andrea.
100 Civics Questions 2025, 2008 Test. Easy Answers in Clear Format. Part 9. 81 to 90. The sun is setting outside the office window, casting a warm light. Andrea and David are both focused and comfortable, knowing they're near the finish line.
Welcome back, David. You're really in the final stretch. You've been handling even the tough questions with more confidence. Ready for our next set?
Thanks, Andrea. I'm excited to see how much I remember.
Question 81. Why did the colonists fight the British? A. Because of high taxes. B. Because they wanted a king. C. Because they liked British food.
I'll go with A. Because of high taxes.
Correct. One of the main reasons the American colonists fought the British was taxation without representation. This meant they were forced to pay taxes, like the Stamp Act and tea tax, but had no representatives in the British Parliament. The colonists felt this was unfair and wanted a government where they had a voice in how they were taxed and governed. Question 82. Who is the commander-in-chief of the military? A. The Speaker of the House. B. The President. C. The Chief Justice.
I'll go with B. The President.
Exactly. The U.S. Constitution gives the President the title of Commander-in-Chief of the U.S. military. This means the President is the highest-ranking leader in all branches of the military: Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, and Space Force, and has the power to direct military actions and strategy. However, only Congress can officially declare war. Question 83. What did the Emancipation Proclamation do? A. It started the Revolutionary War. B. It gave women the right to vote. C. It freed the slaves.
I'll go with C. It freed the slaves.
Correct. The Emancipation Proclamation was issued by President Abraham Lincoln in 1863 during the Civil War. It declared that all slaves in Confederate states were free, changing the focus of the war to include the fight for freedom and equality. While it did not end slavery everywhere immediately, it was a key step toward the 13th Amendment, which abolished slavery in the United States. Question 84. What do we show loyalty to when we say the Pledge of Allegiance? A. The flag. B. The United States. C. The White House.
I'll go with B. The United States.
That's right. The Pledge of Allegiance is a statement of loyalty to the United States as a country. When people say the pledge, they are showing respect for the values, principles, and unity of America, symbolized by the flag. Question 85. Who makes federal laws? A. Congress. B. The Supreme Court. C. The states.
I'll go with A. Congress.
Correct. Congress, which is made up of the Senate and the House of Representatives, is the branch of government responsible for creating federal laws. Members of Congress debate and vote on bills, which can then be sent to the President for approval. This system is designed to represent the people and ensure laws are created through discussion and agreement. Question 86. Who signs bills to become law? A. The Vice President. B. The President. C. The Speaker of the House.
I'll go with B. The President.
Exactly. After Congress passes a bill, it goes to the President, who can sign it into law. If the President disagrees, they can veto it, but Congress can override a veto with a 2/3 majority vote in both houses. The President's signature is the final step for a bill to become a law. Question 87. Name one American Indian tribe in the United States. A. Sioux. B. Cherokee. C. Crow.
I'll go with C. Crow.
Correct. The Crow are one of many Native American tribes in the United States. The U.S. government officially recognizes hundreds of tribes, each with their own history, language, and culture. Mentioning any recognized tribe, like Crow, Sioux, or Cherokee, is a correct answer. Question 88. What does the President's Cabinet do? A. Passes laws. B. Advises the President. C. Commands the military.
I'll go with B. Advises the President.
Exactly. The President's Cabinet is a group of top officials, including the Vice President and heads of major departments like Defense and Education. Their job is to provide advice and help the President make important decisions about the country. Question 89. What do we call the first 10 amendments to the Constitution? A. The Federalist Papers. B. The Declaration of Independence. C. The Bill of Rights.
I'll go with C. The Bill of Rights.
Correct. The Bill of Rights is the name for the first 10 amendments to the U.S. Constitution. These amendments protect important freedoms like freedom of speech, religion, the right to a fair trial, and protection from unreasonable searches. Question 90. How long do we elect a U.S. Senator for? A. 4 years. B. 6 years. C. 2 years.
I'll go with B. 6 years.
Correct. U.S. Senators are elected to serve for 6 years, which is longer than the 2-year term for House Representatives. This longer term allows senators to work on long-term national issues and policies while still being held accountable to the voters. Fantastic work, David. You gave strong, clear answers with great understanding. Did you find any of these questions especially interesting or challenging?
The details about the Emancipation Proclamation and the Bill of Rights really stood out. The history helps me remember why these laws and freedoms matter.
That's exactly right. Connecting the facts to stories and reasons behind them makes the information more meaningful and easier to remember. Your explanations are much more confident now. You're not just repeating facts, you're showing you truly understand.
I feel like every answer tells a piece of America's story. I'm much more comfortable explaining things out loud now, even when I get nervous.
And that's exactly what will help you succeed in the real interview. Remember, you can always pause, take a breath, and explain in your own words. Your confidence and understanding will shine through.
Thank you, Andrea. I never thought I could get this far.
You've worked so hard for this, David. Let's keep building on this momentum. Just one more set, and you'll have practiced all 100 questions.
100 Civics Questions 2025, 2008 Test, Final Review to Pass the Test. Part 10, 81 to 90, Final. The office feels extra warm today, filled with the energy of achievement. Andrea sits across from David, who is smiling with anticipation.
David, can you believe it? This is our last set of questions. You've worked so hard and come so far. How are you feeling about finishing all 100?
Honestly, Andrea, I feel proud. At first, I just wanted to memorize answers, but now I understand the stories behind them. Thank you for guiding me all the way.
You did the hard work. Let's finish strong. 10 more questions, and I'll share my best study tips at the end. Ready?
I'm ready.
Question 91. What is one reason colonists came to America? A. Freedom. B. To escape from the president. C. To find gold.
I'll go with A. Freedom.
Correct. Many colonists came to America for freedom, especially freedom of religion, speech, and opportunity. They wanted to build a new life where they could make their own choices and escape from the restrictions of their home countries. Question 92. When is the last day you can send in federal income tax forms? A. December 31st. B. April 15th. C. July 4th.
I'll go with B. April 15th.
Exactly. April 15th is known as Tax Day in the United States. Every year, citizens and residents must send their federal income tax forms to the IRS by this date, unless an extension is requested. It's important to file taxes on time to avoid penalties. Question 93. If both the president and vice president can no longer serve, who becomes president? A. The Secretary of State. B. The Speaker of the House. C. The Chief Justice.
I'll go with B. The Speaker of the House.
That's right. The Speaker of the House is next in line after the Vice President. This system is called the presidential line of succession and ensures the government keeps running smoothly if something happens to both the President and Vice President. Question 94. What stops one branch of government from becoming too powerful? A. The Bill of Rights. B. Executive orders. C. Checks and balances.
I'll go with C. Checks and balances.
Correct. The U.S. government is designed with three branches: legislative, executive, and judicial. Checks and balances means each branch can limit the powers of the others, so no one branch becomes too powerful. For example, Congress makes laws, but the president can veto them, and the Supreme Court can declare them unconstitutional. Question 95. Who lived in America before the Europeans arrived? A. The Vikings. B. The Native Americans. C. The British.
I'll go with B. The Native Americans.
Exactly. Long before Europeans arrived, Native Americans lived throughout North America. They had many different tribes, languages, and cultures, and their history is an important part of the United States story. Question 96. What did Martin Luther King Jr. do? A. He became president. B. He fought for civil rights. C. He was a famous inventor.
I'll go with B. He fought for civil rights.
Correct. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was a leader in the American civil rights movement. He worked peacefully to end racial segregation and discrimination, and is best known for his "I Have a Dream" speech and his efforts to achieve equality for all Americans. Question 97. What are two rights in the Declaration of Independence? A. Speech and religion. B. Life and liberty. C. Voting and education.
I'll go with B. Life and liberty.
Exactly. The Declaration of Independence lists life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness as rights that belong to all people. These ideas inspired the American Revolution and became central to the nation's values. Question 98. Who is in charge of the executive branch? A. The Senate. B. The President. C. The Supreme Court.
I'll go with B. The President.
Correct. The executive branch carries out federal laws and is led by the president. The president is responsible for making sure government policies are put into action and for leading the country in many ways. Question 99. Who was president during World War I? A. Franklin D. Roosevelt. B. Woodrow Wilson. C. Harry Truman.
I'll go with B. Woodrow Wilson.
Exactly. Woodrow Wilson was president from 1913 to 1921, including all of World War I. He led the U.S. through the war and helped shape the Treaty of Versailles and the League of Nations afterward. Question 100. Name one war fought by the United States in the 1900s. A. The Civil War. B. The Spanish-American War. C. World War II.
I'll go with C. World War II.
Correct. World War II took place from 1941 to 1945 for the United States, and it was the largest conflict in world history. The U.S. played a major role in defeating the Axis powers and shaping the modern world. David, you've just answered all 100 questions. That's a huge achievement. Looking back, what study methods helped you the most?
I learned that saying the answers out loud helped my memory and made me less nervous. Practicing with my family and hearing the stories behind the facts also made everything more interesting.
Those are excellent techniques. I always recommend studying in short sessions every day instead of cramming. Mix up the order of questions so you can answer them out of sequence, and try to explain the answers in your own words like you did here.
Practicing with you made me more comfortable. Having someone correct me gently and explain why helped me understand, not just memorize.
That's the key. Understanding, not just memorizing. Also, remember to check current answers for questions about officials before your interview. And don't forget, it's normal to feel nervous, but you can always pause, ask for a question to be repeated, or take a deep breath.
Thank you, Andrea. I feel ready and much more confident about the interview and about being a U.S. citizen.
You should be proud, David. You worked hard, learned the history, and found your own way to study. No matter what happens on test day, you already have the knowledge and the confidence to succeed, not just for the interview, but as an American citizen.
Thank you for everything, Andrea. I couldn't have done it without your support.
It was my pleasure, David. Welcome to your new chapter.